David Bowie, Slow Burn, yeah. Quite a Eno trilogy feel about it, Lodger and sort of low type, yeah. But, yeah.
Enjoyable.
Now, okay. That's stressful, isn't it? I think we've got things working now. We've had people coming in and out, just shaking their head going, shouldn't have bought that desk. But it's all sorted now, I think. And,
you notice how it took, about 25 minutes for them to come down as well, though? Do you feel like we're maybe quite low in the pecking order in the building?
Definitely.
You know, it's like Capital First, Capital Gold. They can shoot off to other sort of pirate stations. People's car radios, then they come back here.
Oh, dear. Oh, I had a job at Richard Sounds. Light fitting was buzzing. Now, but we've got, thanks for staying, listening. Right, okay, educating Ricky. What have we got? Airy Chinese kid, go on.
Right, yeah, this is the, I didn't want to do this.
What do you mean you didn't want to do it?
Well, I wanted to give you 3, and I gave you one. It was like the alien man gets a beard or whatever.
Yeah, which was total rubbish, so this one should be better, maybe.
Hairy Chinese kid. Right, well, we've talked about airy people in the past.
True enough.
Haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, the little kids who grew up in woods and hung around with wolves and that.
Yeah, again, you're confusing it. Yeah, they're not, there were some people that were born very hirsute. They were not the people who were brought up with wolves. You just put that together in your Homer Simpson type mind.
Right, well, this is like a sort of close to that sort of story.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, right, Chinese people aren't that hairy as a nation. No, seriously, that's a well-known fact. They don't have that much body hair and stuff.
Okay.
So this little kid who was born over there, he was like covered in stuff.
Was he?
And it was only his nose that wasn't hairy. The rest of his body was caked in hair, right? And his hair sort of.
What sort of hair was it? Was
thick,
it
thick hair?
No, what I mean is, was it sort of like a pony's mane? So he just looked like an Ewok. You know what I mean? Just like hanging down, sort of straight, dark hair.
In the picture, it looked like it grows from his eyebrow. It grows from his eyebrows quite thick, and then it just goes all the way over.
You
his
don't think
head.
it was just really long eyebrows that he'd done a comb over?
No, it was all over his body. It had a picture of like his back and that.
Yeah.
And
had he styled it? Had he styled it at all? Did he have it in a quiff or?
No, it was just
hanging everywhere.
all over him.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this is a bit weird. Happening in China, where we're not normally that hairy.
That was the scientist speaking there.
And the local press and that were getting him down, calling him Monkey Boy and all this.
Oh.
And
thinking Chinese press.
But the doctor,
Yeah. Oh.
They're cruel, aren't they? It's like those game shows.
well,
That's Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
and the doctor said,
I was Carl talking through all that time while we were just like talking to each other then. Because I turned round and I still saw he was talking. Go on.
So anyway, the local press came in to see the hairy boy, the monkey
yeah,
boy.
and they were like being tight, and taking the mickey out of him, and the doctor said,
throwing him nuts.
said he's only hairy. Said he's a healthy young kid. The only faults he's got is he's got a little bit of eczema and a boil. And he said everybody should just treat him the same, and I think he grew up a healthy kid. Yeah, so that's the
That's
the end of the story.
That's not a story.
why?
Well, but I've got nothing. I don't know what to say to that. So someone in China was born slightly hairier than the rest, and he was normal apart from eczema and a boil. That to me isn't a story. But if it is, I've got a million. I mean, it's sort of like bloke from Manchester went a bit bolder than the rest, got a job on radio. He was normal. I mean, that's not a story, is it? Do you know what I mean?
All right then.
Hang on.
Hold on, he's got the big guns. You're not going to give us hanging bacon, are you?
Yeah.
Come on then.
Right.
Come
This is the
on.
one we've been looking
Come
forward
on.
to. This is it.
No, this is a good one.
This is the one.
And this is a story, right? Do you know the saying, chewing the fat?
Good one. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Talking.
Right. Well, do you know where it came from?
No.
Right, what they used to do years ago, when people didn't have much money.
Is this the same as throwing the baby out of the bathwater?
No, it's not it's not the same saying, but it's...
No, but I mean, is it as wrong as that was?
Well, let me tell you, and we'll
Go
see.
on. Okay.
Like, people go out to work, and with the money, they'd buy food.
Oh yeah, go on. This is a good system. What? Go on. What do you mean? People go out to work and with the system.
And if you were quite well off, you might treat your family to some bacon. right? But do you know, like in these days, if people earn a lot of money, they might buy a nice suit or a car.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You're saying wait, let me get this straight. You're saying that you go out to work and get money to buy things to live, and if you get sort of enough money to live and you've got some left over, you might treat yourself on like a suit or a car or something. Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Oh,
but back then, if you earned money, they'd say...
This is olden times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get some bacon in, right? And what they'd do, they'd hang it in the kitchen.
What, to show it off?
To show it off to all the neighbours and friends. Because if you had hanging bacon, it was like, he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah. Some lovely bacon.
So they had loads of bacon hanging up, and people would come round, right? And whilst they stood in the kitchen talking about whatever they're talking about...
In olden times.
They'd say, do you want a bit of rind? And they'd rip a little bit of rind off, and whilst they're having a chit-chat...
Chewing the fat.
Chew on the rind.
Well, I think that's probably true. I haven't heard that, but that one to me sounds true. Do you see the difference between that one and a man was abducted and grew a beard? Can you see the difference in why I accept that story?
Different stories for different things.
Different stories for different things. So, see, that's a nice story. If it's true, I don't know if it's true. I mean, but it seems totally possible, viable, quite interesting. I won't be quoting that myself until I've verified it. But that's, you know, I won't be telling anyone the bloke got in the car and he had a full-faced beard. Why has his car been towed away?
Because it was a quiet road.
Was it?
It wasn't in the way. So.
Are you filling in the blanks again? That wasn't in the book, was it, that you read? See, this is the thing. Sometimes I think you make up bits of the story as though they were fact. That doesn't seem right.
Well, that's all you can do, innit? So that's educating Ricky. Will we...
Brilliant.
Do that next week.
That is brilliant.
No, I think that was good. I did. I mean, I enjoyed that. I learned something from that.
I mean, I want to get. I mean, this is all from one book, is it?
Yeah.
That's an interesting book.
With the, I don't want to dwell on it, but with the hairy Chinese kid, what did they say about that? What was the, I mean, was it once there was born a kid who was slightly more hairy than everyone else? But yeah, it's all right. He only had a boil. Oh, how did they word it? How did this capture your imagination?
It was a picture that grabbed me first of all.
Yeah. Sure.
And it was like, God, what's up with him? And that's when I read it.
Did you see the boil and the eczema or just the hair?
No, you see, because his face is like, just under his eyes is sort of nice and smooth, and his nose is sticking out, and that's not hairy. But the rest of him, it looked like he had the sort of a balaclava on or something. And then I read on, and it's like, this is a hairy kid in China.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, good. Anything else in there? Because, I mean, I like that.
We'll do more of that next week.
How is that alongside, hanging bacon, alien abduction, a hairy Chinese kid, and, a little interesting fact about the derivation of a phrase?
What do you mean?
He didn't understand a word of that. I knew the word derivation was going to cause problems. I thought derivation shouldn't have come out.
No, I wasn't disputing. He's all smug because he just had a phone call. That was, Beck, lost cause. Go on, tell him why you're all smug.
Because Adrian just called up.
Yeah.
After hearing the story about the Chinese kid.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that's true. He said that there was a TV programme on it.
Yeah.
He had a chromosome defect.
Yeah.
And it made him hairy. And his mum and dad used to have to shave him. That wasn't in the book. But, thinking about it, that's not a good move anyway, is it? Because they say that for women, if you get a few hairs on your top lip, don't shave it because it'll grow back thicker and faster. So...
Right.
They should just, let him be
They should have just said, well, let's see how bad it gets. But if they went in there straight away, if he came out as a baby and a little bit hairy, they should have left it, maybe, for a little bit. But Adrian called up and said, yeah, he was hairy, he was all right.
We weren't disputing there was a Chinese kid born slightly hairier than the rest.
We were disputing the fact that you didn't actually tell us a story. You just told us a
And what we are disputing is that man was abducted by aliens for 3 days and grew a beard. Yeah. That's definitely not true.
No.
We don't know about chewing the fat, but it sounds quite viable.
Yeah.
You see, the difference is between me and Steve and you is that what we believe isn't random. Do you know what I mean? It's not random. The things that...
We don't believe stuff just because it's interesting.
It's not every other thing we believe and every other thing we don't.
Well, I think Carl believes stuff if it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If he thinks, oh, intriguing. Fact.
He said to me on the, before he got a minute, he said, that Ollie's record, Ian Evie's my brother, what's that about then? And I went, oh, I don't know, I heard, it was about someone who had a disabled brother, and he was lifting him in and out of a car or something, and someone said, "Oh, do you want a hand?" And he went, "No, he's not heavy. He's my brother." I.e., this isn't a burden for me.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Carl, what did you say?
I'd say
No, I'll tell you what he said. He went, "That's ridiculous." He was still heavy. And he said, "Don't turn down help."
which we were talking about that because a new feature we're starting about this time every week.
Oh, yeah.
We start about this time every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that song's got a good story.
Okay.
Yeah, love it, snappy. Go on, go on.
And there's loads of songs out there, isn't there, with songs that you couldn't fade out. When you hear them on the radio and that, you don't want anyone to talk over the start or the end.
Yeah,
because
but remember we did this one before with Killing a Georgie by Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried that it might have been a true story because we were, joking about it. And he went, "Oh, you know that Killing a Georgie?" He went, "I think it is a true story." I went, "Why?" He went, "I listened to it again, and Rod Stewart at the beginning says this is one of my best friends." So it's brilliant, isn't it? It's genius.
So there's loads of songs out there, and what I want to do, we want to get the audience involved in this. So if you've got like a favourite song that's got a really good
if you've got an
story,
audience, yeah, go on.
and they email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk and they say what the song is now.
What would examples be then?
Examples, ones that jump to mind straight away for me: Elvis, In the Ghetto.
Yeah, good one.
Brilliant.
Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy.
Absolutely.
Don't know that one.
Eminem, Stan.
Right. Yeah. Good one. You couldn't fade it out, could you? Because you go, "Well, what happened?"
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Not just any sort of pop song that keeps repeating itself. And it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it skips or you know what I mean. If you turn the radio off.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Ernie,
songs.
the fastest milk rewards.
Yeah, that is a good story. That is a good story. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah. It's a
Two-tone.
story. Yeah.
Ted from Teddington, he drove the baker's van.
Well.
So what have we got then? Have we got one?
So we're going to kick it off today with Stevie Wonder, "Living Just Enough for the City."
Okay.
And just briefly.
Sum it up. Right,
Yeah.
if you are nipping out, maybe you're in the car and you're about to pull up somewhere and get out. What it's all about is a lad who's growing up in like America in some rough area, right? And he's trying his best to do well and get a job and everything, but because of where he's from, it's stopping him doing that, right? It's like how I grew up on an estate in Manchester. I had to leave there and come to London to do all right for myself,
Yeah.
right? And it's his whole family, and it's a tale of like how his man works dead hard and works loads of hours, but the kids are always well dressed and cleaned. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got a good job, you let your house run down. Do you know what I mean? She's looking after it. The sister, she hasn't got new clothes, but they're always clean, and her knees are clean, I think it says in one point.
Good. Excellent. Clean knees, always important.
So will we give it a listen? Let everyone
Brilliant,
hear
it's
it?
a
Well, I
great
don't
track.
think Stevie can do it justice. After that explanation.
Right, so
I'm not sure he's
I
going
hope
to
he
top
uses
that.
like some sort of like backing tune to try and
Try and pep it up a bit, because
Yeah.
you have really knocked the socks off
so-
it.
brilliant. I'm looking forward to the
right, here
clean
we go
knees.
then. It's a new feature.
What is it called again?
The story in that song's really good. Here's Stevie Wonder.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. Emily from New York has asked Carl this. Carl, if you were on a sinking ship or you were in a burning building and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us,
Yeah.
who would you save? Would it
Is
be
it-
Ricky or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly, and we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing,
The girder.
yeah,
It's
he
full on.
dies. So he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What?
Because it depends
Because
what the
Steve's in the
situation-
room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down, and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen,
He won't be
all I would say
around
this-
for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well-
Forget him.
Bear in mind this, Carl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas
on.
me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping
there
you
we
out.
go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve? The time when we went for a coffee and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50 pence change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p,
Oh, I'm not
and you
liking-
decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I wanted to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who I
But
say
you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
No, but yes, but that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a
matter.
promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well,
Listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Well, think about it and...
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then so the conclusion is...
Okay, all right.
A few people have sent this in, including Paul, the party animal Parker. For some reason, we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still not a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late.
Sure.
And the boss, who's in over, will go, Parker, you're late again. He goes, yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all.
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke, goes, you stupid idiot, you can't... He goes, chill out, man, and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, you just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. You take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say, like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself because
I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue
Yeah.
and they said, here's some faces you can have, pick which one you want.
Yeah.
would you be looked upon badly if you go, do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face? Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone.
Yeah, I know, but at some point, well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to.
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
But where has this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
In the
Where,
hospital.
where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these?
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. You know, it's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this, though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.
It's from Anne-Marie. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7-month-old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Carl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
You can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I mean
exactly.
is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman. You know,
A rumman? Where's that?
No, just like, you know, she liked going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Right, which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised, because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of
Second
down and what have you. But suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It what? It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North
stressful.
American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
It's God, sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Okay, right. Did
That
you?
time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that,
Yeah.
I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons,
Yeah.
isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Wait, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off there. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fellow was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra.
Right.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's right. There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about.
POD, or pod, as I call them. I don't.
No.
XFM 104.9. It's the Ricky Gervais Show.
With Steve Merchant?
Yeah. So Dermot O'Diddley,
Yes.
through weeks and weeks in a row, he doesn't even turn up, and now suddenly he's all over breakfast.
I noticed, yeah, you're standing in for the breakfast show. Why weren't we asked to do that?
Well, we
Quite
were.
upsetting. Were we?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, but I don't want to get up that early, do I?
Sure.
I feel a bit hungover today, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's happening? What were you partying last night, were you?
Well, not partying. We just went out for a couple of drinks, then had a meal, and then went to the Borderline and saw. But I'll tell you about that. It's good.
You saw a band. That's the first
Yeah.
time in years, isn't it?
It is,
It's not
yeah,
like you.
yeah. Because no, do you know John Sim, the actor?
Not really.
He's in this band, right, called Magic Alex, and it was really good. They're sort of like a friendly oasis. They got, sort of
Yeah,
quite,
yeah,
it's quite mank sort of feel, but it's really good songs and everything.
Is he the singer?
Yeah, no, he's a guitarist. Nice, cool. But it was full of actors because of that, and I felt quite tall.
That's ludicrous, because you're
See,
a very short man.
Well, I am. I'm sort of. I was average, but now I'm not. I don't think 5'8". That's what. But there, I was like quite. It was like Lilliput. So I just got to hang out at actors do. Or I'm like, yeah.
This is the reason, because actors are often quite handsome people, but yet they're always quite
we
obnoxious.
We are.
No, I mean, they're normally quite obnoxious, Rick. Again, you're a good example of that. And yet, I think it must be the small man complex. That's what makes them so obnoxious and so kind of desperate for attention. Didn't realise it before.
Steady on.
Because, of course, I tower above everyone.
You do, don't you?
I'm, for people who don't know, who are listening, I'm 6'7" tall. That's high.
Yeah.
That's big.
And for people who've never seen him, he doesn't hold it well. It's not like he's a sort of handsome athlete, is it, Carl? He's a bit of a what do you call him?
Carl, don't answer.
No.
Don't get drawn into that. You know the game he's playing.
No. Do you know yesterday when you were in the office?
Yeah.
You did a little move, and it reminded me of Blakey.
Oh, I hate you, Gervais. Oh, I hate you, Pilkington.
That
He's-
sort of stance.
Yeah, but even he held it a little bit better, didn't he? Because he was a man, he had a big coat and everything, and a peak cap. But, yeah.
I can't believe you. Like, I've not suffered enough from being freakishly tall. Now, two of my best buddies,
Yeah.
live on radio, are just...
It's not just the height, though, is it? It's the posture and the face and everything.
But it's got your places, hasn't it?
No? What do you
No,
mean it's got me
it's-
places?
I think people give you a bit more of a chance in your career and stuff. 'Cause it's like,
What, yeah, stacking shelves? Because I can reach to a high level.
Muse, Plug-in Baby on XFM 104.9.
Rick,
Ricky Gervais, go on.
Well, yeah, but I know you guys are laughing about the height thing, and for those that have only just tuned in, I am 6'7" tall, which is tall and that's big, and I pride myself on it in a way. I've worked hard, I've not smoked, I ate well,
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment, but obviously I didn't have much involvement in it. I just am, and it's a curse because mainly the problem is that you can't get stuff, you can't get clothes, you can't get shoes.
Yeah.
Size
It's size 14 feet.
Yeah, but it is genuine, and I don't know. I mean, it costs a lot to buy a pair of size 14 shoes, and so I don't. I mean, if you were genuinely poor, I don't know how you'd afford to be tall because the clothing costs more, everything costs more.
I've seen this in comics that you'd actually go to school in a barrel
Wearing a barrel
with just braces. It'd just be a barrel like that, and you'd have sort of flip flops, and you'd take a mule
Yeah.
with you. They all had a mule, didn't they? The
But
poor
people always think like you'll be in a pub or something, and people just think they can talk to you about it. They just think, hey, oh, you lanky, it's just like because it's like they.
But that
think,
really annoys you, doesn't it?
Well, it annoys me because it's like they think I should be proud of it. Like
Well,
it's
exactly, but
accomplishment.
they don't think that this is not a disadvantage. This is not a disability, is it? You're taller than most people. It might
It is
get
a disability
no.
if
If you were 8'3", it'd be slightly debilitating. You would, but
Disabilitating?
you're what?
Disabilitating? Yeah. No, you're a medical man, aren't you? But no, the point is, it's a disabilitating because when you go on public transport, like if you're on a coach,
Yeah.
the only place I can sit on a coach is that seat
On the driver's lap.
Either on the driver's lap or that seat at the very end.
Yeah.
You know which sits into the aisle.
Yeah.
That's the only place I can
Well,
sit.
you
and there's
stand
only
up,
some sort of
stand
kids
up.
at the back waving at drivers.
You could
in
drive
that
it from the back.
Here he comes, watch it.
Were you a tall baby? Or
Mr. and Mrs. Merchant, you've given birth to a basketball player. Look at his dribble already. Were you a tall baby? Babies aren't tall.
oh, at what point did you suddenly like, Jesus, nothing fits me?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, Carl.
Let's do a little graph. How tall were you at 5?
Oh, I don't know. 3 foot?
3 foot. How tall were you at 12?
6 foot?
6. Were you really?
I don't know, do I? How do I remember? I don't remember this.
Well, when did teachers start calling you freak boy and
Really,
lanky?
they didn't. It wasn't
Didn't they?
so much. It was no.
You went to a funny school. I went bowling with him once, right? I'd never been bowling before, and he'd been once before, and he went, let's go to this bowl. We went to a bowling alley, right? And, you have to wear these special shoes. Now, they're sort of like pointed things anyway, and they're, multicoloured, sort of red and green. They look pretty weird. And the woman said to me, oh, what size? I said, oh, 8. She went, yeah. So what size are you? He went, 14. She went, 14. He went, you probably haven't got them. She goes, yeah, I think we have got one pair. And she put them on the table, and it was like Krusty the Clown. And I just started laughing. They looked so long, and he had to run round this bowling alley in these freaky clown
But
shoes.
they don't look freaky clown like when I'm wearing them, because the rest of me is in proportion to it.
It looks like a little wall bracket.
One of the worst things that happened to me was when I was like, I don't know, when I was about 16 or something. We went to It's a fire
There's a
alarm
fire alarm going off.
There's a fire alarm going
And the
off.
fire light's going off. Should we not just
Should
maybe
we
play a
evacuate?
record and go and check that out?
Wrap it up if you want.
No, not wrap it up. Play a record. I'm gonna go.
No, the
See you
fire,
later.
it's gone off, Rick. It's gone off.
Oh, what? They might have burnt down.
Yeah, I think we'd know about it. The flames licking around our ankles would be a clue.
God.
I'm gonna go and investigate.
yes,
You
sir.
shouldn't ignore a fire alarm, should you?
Blimey.
We're
entertaining the nation.
Oh, look at him, he's scared of fire! What do you mean? Mercury Rev. The dark is rising. That's a good song, isn't it?
I noticed that you're investigating the fire mainly involved wandering out into the office, looking around a bit, then coming back.
Yeah.
What did you find out?
There was no fire.
There was no fire.
No.
Right.
But I like that. Imagine that though. Imagine that there's a fire and there's loads of firemen. They go get back, and you go to the firemen. All get back. Oh, look at him.
I would. I'd actually
Yeah.
be justified to.
Okay, there's heavy shelling, lads. Retreat. Oh, Sarge. I'm sorry. Sarge.
Yeah.
There was a fire alarm. I'd never seen it before. A fire thing going off. There was a fire alarm going. I thought, oh, let's at least have a look if there's a fire. That's all I thought. See, there's some official coming in now to tell us we should have been running out.
There's no fire. Well, you can't just stop entertaining, you know, the people of London just because there's a fire.
This isn't the Titanic.
Oh, true.
I don't have to carry on playing.
I don't know. It feels like a bit of a sinking ship. Rick, here we go.
Alright. Nice one. Nice one.
I don't know who I was taking off then. Probably me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Listen, let me just tell you briefly. This is another example of how people can just exploit you and make fun of you when you're tall.
Yeah.
I was quite tall. I've always been like about 6'7" for quite a while now. And when I was about 16, I went to a big New Year's celebration in Bristol, where I come from. And everyone kind of congregates in this big sort of part of town, and there's all people dancing around, like in Trafalgar Square. And I was there, and somehow I just picked up a balloon somewhere along the line, one of those kind of helium sort of balloons, and I was holding that, sort of dancing around. And these two girls came up to me, and I was thinking, yeah, okay, you know, it's New Year's Eve, brilliant, you know, that's my kind of party.
Yeah.
And they came up, and they went, hey.
Once a year.
And they went, they said, you going to be here for long? And I went, well, maybe. And they said, it's just that we've arranged to meet back at you in about an hour. I went, what do you mean? I went, well, it's just because we can see you wherever you are. Don't worry, you can move around and stuff. We'll see you with the balloon. Just arrange to meet some friends.
I
here."
love that. A landmark.
So, like,
As pilots use that. Oh, we're just coming in. There's where we go. When we see Steve Merchant, we will be descending to Bristol Temple Mead.
What's really funny is New Year's Eve, Trafalgar Square, you got a huge column, but they use
Yeah.
Steve as like the meeting point.
Steve's got a
It's
huge
brilliant.
column.
Brilliant, Rick. Well done. Award-winning comedy.
Happy Monday. Took you back, didn't it? Happy Mondays there, Manxie. Now Carl's like really getting down. Oh yeah. Oh come on.
Got
Come
any
on.
Veras?
Oh come on now.
Sweet.
Did it take you back, did it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
29. So you were just going into out of your teens.
I'm a Virgo.
No.
What?
No. No. You don't understand. It's just.
I'm
Rick,
a
I
Virgo.
thought we discussed about involving Carl.
Yeah,
in any
sorry,
discussion.
yeah.
Management have told us we're just not allowed to do it.
We've had emails from
Yeah,
people.
please don't speak to Carl.
It's cruel.
Exactly.
On the cusp.
Can I just make an appeal? I don't want to.
On the cusp, Libra Virgo, he said. Still going through with it. Doesn't know what's going on, does he? Just wave bright objects at him.
Yeah.
And we've got a competition this, Steve.
We have, but before we mention that,
Go on.
can I just ask something? I don't want to exploit our position on the radio.
No.
But I wonder, because I'm very tall, and it's very tricky for me to get size 14 shoes and big clothes and stuff, could I just get people to send some stuff if like, maybe they own a shop which
Yeah, but
sells
it'd be things like homemade clogs
That's
that people
cool.
have carved out of chunks of wood they found
That's
in the
whatever.
shed.
Whatever.
It's not
When I
going
was
to
in
be great.
America, when I was in America, everyone says to me, you go to
It
America.
was a cool. I made out of my own skin.